The biggest problem with having a trailer in your shop with a deck on it is it immediately becomes your workbench. So here's what I got. I want to go over what I've done to this thing. This is 3/4 inch. They call it DryPly. I bought it last time I was up in Kansas. And I'll show you, it looks like one side of it has some kind of a coating on it that resists moisture. I thought both sides had it. I bought it. I didn't even realize it when I was picking it up, and then when I got it back, I realized that. But that should be okay because I've got the moisture side. Really, the only one that I care about is the bottom side because this is the side that's going to get water thrown up at it. So anyway, I'm getting under here to show you what I've done. I haven't done this section and that little section over there yet, but what I did was I got some of that Armax foam board and set it down with the foil facing side down, and then this is some fence posts, some fence pickets. I did this on another on my other camper. And this is just something solid to secure it, to hold this stuff in place. And then I have a 2-inch screw, which is just perfect to go through. This is 5/8. This is 1-inch foam board, and then it goes into my 3/4 inch deck here, but not enough to poke out the top. So I do grab a little bit of meat, enough to hold these in place. I mean, they're not, I'm sure if you pulled real hard, you could rip them out because there's not that much meat, but they'll hold just fine. And then I'm gonna do what they call poor man's spray foam. You get a can of great stuff and just kind of go all the way around the corners. And what that does is that it adheres better, it fills those gaps, and then it gives you even more surface that it's grabbing onto. And so hopefully that alone is enough to resist all the water that may come up. But if something does end up making it past all of that, this surface will resist the rest of the moisture. It is tongue and groove, and so I got the piece coming back here. If you remember in my previous video, this is a piece of 3-inch square tubing, so I got meat on both sides of that I could put those self-tappers down. I want to talk about these self-tappers. Here's the box here. I have a couple of different types. Where'd it go? It was right there next to me. See what I mean about having a workbench? So these I bought at Home Depot. There's 100 in this pack. I'm pretty sure it was a little bit cheaper, and they're Phillips head. But I ran out of them, and I went to the local store. It's just a True Value, but it's a lot closer to my house. And they had this, which looked, it's slightly different. There's less in the pack. It was a little more expensive, but they actually have bigger heads on them. If you can see, that's one of the True Value ones, and that's one of the Home Depot ones. So I think it's actually probably better for this purpose to use that wood to metal screw, but I really like these screws because they actually have they have these little tabs, so they're really good at drilling through the wood. They waller out a nice size hole, and then it's got a self-drilling head that goes through the sheet or through the steel on your frame, and then once it hits these tabs break off, and then you've got real fine threads for it to eat into your steel, and it makes a really good, really strong connection. I put these things all over this. So at every cross member, I have one. I have one between every cross member on the corners, at least on the outside, and then I did every foot with a little bit of a wider gap there in the middle, just because it's 6'4". So I do, I guess 13, it goes a foot, or so 12 inches, 13, 13, 12, 12. But yeah, that's solid. I was walking around on this thing, and it is, I mean, this is a more solid floor than any camper I've ever been in. So I'm happy so far. Now, as far as protecting the top of it, it's going to be inside, so it's not going to be as big of a deal. But, tracking in from coming inside and out, you may have wet on your shoe if it's raining or something like that. I'm going to get a piece of sheet vinyl before I actually start to do the walls. And I'm going to lay it out so that it's not going to interfere with my walls, because I want to glue as well as screw my walls down. They need to be super, super strong to be able to withstand the wind. So, you know, picture driving 80 miles an hour, which I probably won't go that fast, but let's just pretend I did, with a 40 mile an hour headwind. That's 120 mile an hour winds that this thing needs to be able to sustain. Anyway, yeah, well, I mean, let's get real. I'm not going to be going 80 to begin with, but even if I was going 80, there's no way I'd be going 80 with a 40 mile an hour headwind. So I guess that's pretty crazy to think of. But regardless, I don't want these walls coming off. I'm going to have them on real solid. So whenever I actually go to put the walls down, I'm going to run even more self-tappers through the bottom footer board, through the plywood floor into the frame. I did get some 3-inch screws, which should be long enough to be able to accomplish that. And then I'm going to mark where each one of these are, so I make sure to go between them. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to put down a sheet of vinyl so there won't be any seams. I still need to go through and fill in these gaps because I don't want to lay another board down just to give me a flat surface. I need to clean this off first off, and then I'm going to go through and put wood glue inside of all these little screw holes. I already did it. Let's see if I can find a spot where I did it. In the imperfections in the wood, yeah, like here's one. You know, the knots that are in the wood, they're real. I mean, this had quite a bit of them because this isn't the finished side. The other side's supposed to be the side facing up. I did it backwards. So the other side's nice and smooth. This side had all these imperfections, and so I already did that before I cut and put these boards on. Now you may be asking yourself, what is up with the big hole right there in the middle? That is going to be for my window AC unit. I'm going to do a video separately on that because I have a lot of really cool ideas of what I'm going to end up doing there to make all that work. But there's the overview so far. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm really enjoying this project, and I'm enjoying taking these videos. So make sure you give me a comment if you got any questions or have any suggestions or anything I should do. Oh, one more thing I forgot to point out, I'm sorry, is you know, they say measure twice, cut once, or something like that. So I intentionally made this board. It was supposed to only be a 1/4 inch short, okay? And I included the tongue and groove. You know, I subtracted that from the amount. The problem was I forgot when I put this first piece on that I was going to leave a 1/4 inch gap up front. And so now I'm stuck with between 1 to a 1/2 inch gap here on the back. And it would have only been a 1/4. I really need to run my outside board down here so that the water runs out. I've seen other people, and they'll just make them meet right here, and they say it always ends up being water damage because water will get here and then it will wick into your floorboard. So I don't exactly know what I'm going to do here yet. One thought I had was I'm going to use 2x2s for my framing. Maybe on the back I use 2x4s. That may end up not being too bad of an idea anyway, because I'm still trying to decide where to mount my spare tire, and the thought hit me, what if I mounted my spare tire on the back of this thing? It would be kind of like my Jeep Wrangler with the spare tire on the back. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but 2x4s should have enough meat that I could run a lag bolt in and mount a spare tire on that. I don't know if 2x2s are going to be strong enough, but anyway, like I was saying, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. I'm posting them pretty quick lately. It seems like I've been taking them pretty quick. I guess my next step is going to be to finish up what I'm going to do with this hole in the floor, and like I said, I think you're going to like it because I'm pretty excited about it. Thanks for watching.